stay for, or I feel for a long time. So.
Oh, there's karmic merit.
Yeah.
There's karmic merit to go see the relics. And Dr. Hawkins and Susan Hawkins themselves came to the Sedona tour. Right after it left our home, it came to Sedona. And of course, my brother and I flew to Sedona. I mean, my God, with Dr. Hawkins, and we helped set it up, and he was there. It was like meeting his old friend. That's how he described it. So there is merit to go and see the relics. You give it meaning. You don't dump it, like, oh, what's this? It's curiosity. But if your soul gives it meaning and you take the trip to Rosemead in California and see and spend time. Lama Zopa Rinpoche, who was really the director of the Maitreya relic tool, and his inspiration was his friend Lama Yeshe. Lama Yeshe, and of course, His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama, who had his own relics in the collection. But Lama Zopa clearly says, and if there's a jewel of Mahayana Buddhist tradition, it's Lama Zopa. I mean, wow. Okay. And Lama Zopa said the relics are a way home. They're a pathway to show you home. That's why I'm saying that I felt at home in Minneapolis, in Gyuto Monastery. I went, oh, what am I doing in a clinic? But that's my job. That's my commitment, my pathway in this lifetime. So I don't turn away from it, but I sure know that I respect that scientific pathway. And like Dr. Hawkins said, now make yourself aware and your patients aware of their spiritual responsibility. And it can be anything, it can be a Course in Miracles. It can be a contemplation, prayer. Psalm 91 is one I like, and I give it. I actually write it out, print it. And right now I'm doing a contemplation on be still and know I am God. And I did it for fun. I said, okay, January 1st, I'm going to contemplate that one sentence. And what comes up is like, whoa, I did not know that. The attributes of God are everywhere. And they
Yeah, so
reveal
that's
themselves. I mean, it's not me. It's not Nisha doing anything. I go, oh, I sit there and something pops up and I go, oh my God, I better write that down because it'll go. I don't prepare things. And so it's
yeah.
kind of
Well,
fun.
yeah, it is fun, and that's like this discussion today. We had zero talking about it, just some communication, and it's such a wonderful information exchange and the field. I feel like we're being blessed right now in this
Yeah.
conversation, especially in
Yeah.
Insurance Course in Miracles. That's the way my practice is as well too. Is I'll recommend the Letting Go book, or Dr. Sue's Energy Codes, or something to help people stabilize in the knowingness that they are, that they, or if they already have the knowingness, to further strengthen their connection to the spiritual being that they are.
Yeah, you have everything already installed in you. You have the high technology inside to live your best life now. It's not a quick fix, though. It's not a quick fix. It is a willingness to go there and be with it. Yeah. But I wanted to just come back to the relics so that you're going to take
Yes.
the devices there. Put the intention now, okay? And don't restrict yourself, don't restrain. You want to let it come and be in joy, because the Buddha masters are linking arms with you. Okay, they're already with you now, because you wouldn't have given it meaning. I'm telling you, a lot of people read this thing. How many will take the action to say, I'm going to order the devices, go to the Tiller Foundation website, get these things, ask me questions? I mean, you did a lot of steps already, so I know. So I salute you for that. So take the devices, and you said, how do I protect them? You put a petition out to the Buddha masters that may these be connected, entangled with the Buddha field till the end of this lifetime, or forever and ever. So they benefit all that come into contact with the devices. And when you handle the devices, make a subjective note of what you're feeling. For me, the scalp relaxes and the mind goes quiet. Then I know, oh. So if I want to be extra quiet, I just hold my device. I just hold it. Go, okay, because it is a sacred object.
Ah, very great. Yeah. Plugged
Okay.
in or not plugged in?
You don't
That's
have
the
to.
question.
You don't
You
have to.
don't
They
have to have
both
it
are
plugged in
okay.
because it's
And
still gonna.
and those who have the gift of seeing light around objects, I've had people when I used to live in Scotland say, "Oh, what's that in that corner? It's giving off a lot of light. I can't
Oh,
focus on
wow.
your conversation." And I said, okay, I'll unplug it. And they would hold it and go, whoa, I feel so much energy out of this. And it was unplugged. So whether it's plugged or unplugged, and you can experiment for yourself, you'll be guided, okay? But either way, and I don't know about the Rosemead Relic Tour location, what they will allow, but just know that the very fact that you're taking the devices into that space while you're there, it's being imprinted. I bet you being imprinted now. That's called
Wonderful.
retrocausality, right? Before you even.
We love it. You can't with grace. It's like it's beyond time, which I was
It's
so
beyond
thankful.
time, yeah. And Dr. Tiller showed this, when he did replication of his experiments with Italy, London, and Berlin. And he says when they signed the consent form, their pH meters took off even before the device arrived to their location. Okay, so it was retro because before the fact that you have agreed in your heart, I want to do this. I want to have the essence of the relic masters to serve myself, my own growth, but also to radiate that loving to my clients, to my family, to my parents. So that loving kindness, then it's working now. So write it when you're there, whether you plug it or not. I think it's irrelevant. We had just I put mine in a box under the relic table. There was space, and I put it under there for the entire time. The relics came home for the 3 days, they were under there. And then the one thing I do recommend when you bring them home is to put aluminum foil. That's like a Faraday cage because aluminum reduces EMF pollution from our phones, from all around. We are surrounded by EMF
Sure.
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it stops it from interfering with the device and stops the information from leaking away. But I'll tell you
Wonderful.
this, just your intention, Buddha Masters, keep it safe. And Dr. Tiller would say, because we imprinted devices for patients, and I wrote a case report in pillar number 6 of Bridging Science and Spirit with a patient with arthritis. And this gentleman would receive his imprinted device and he says, it's like my best friend because he felt it. He felt something beyond just medications, steroids and painkillers or whatever that he was on. He did information medicine too. So that's what you're doing. It's information medicine.
Yes, and that's what I love that's available, and
Yeah.
the research and all the pioneer work that you and Dr. Tiller did on that is able to spread to people like me, and my intention is for clients as well that I'm working with. And I did notice that when I came back and I was working with people with energy medicine, I would see in the field like that this part, it was like overlaid on, like I'd
Yes.
be working with someone on healing and that energy would come in. And so it was really beautiful and there was something else I was going to add. Oh, okay. So if it was going to be given to someone, like let's say a client or a family member, do you recommend that it goes back with them, or does it stay here, or does it even matter where it ends up?
I would say you can keep it in your office,
Uh-huh.
okay? Because the field is everywhere, there's no gaps, and that there's an intelligence of that field that reaches that location, which is really, that's the mystery. And I wrote that how does the information doesn't go down a telephone wire? I mean, how does it reach them? How does it know that
Right.
address? And
I think it was like Italy somewhere. You had a picture of like the U.S. and
yeah,
Italy
it's
or
the
some of the
field.
vector fields, right?
The R space is everywhere, and that's a higher level of functioning than direct space, which is ordinary reality. Now, we're always in connection with R space in differing amounts. The Buddha relic gets you there immediately, but you're beyond that. You're also, that's why I say you're beyond the R space. And Tiller science is R space, and Buddha relics, the gate symmetry that we and of course we don't have the technology to confirm, but it was SU99 plus. That's that's enormous power.
For people that haven't seen that, the SU is
The
I
gauge.
think SU the pH. Did
So
you say
SU1 is ordinary reality, SU2 is the
ordinary,
next
third
level,
dimensional? Right.
SU3 is the chakra system. If you look at the body, SU2
Yeah.
is the acupuncture,
Okay.
SU4, SU5 is we determine that at the very minimum, the Buddha relic set up a gate space of SU99. And it's probably beyond that. But you calibrate these things. That means you can muscle test these questions. And I came back to Tiller that these relics are very, very high field. And we don't
Yeah.
have the means to go there with our technology. We can only surmise by using Hawkins muscle tests, by asking
Yes.
the question. You have to also know that, calibration becomes like I'm going to ask about this and this. No, you want to know the truth. The
Yes.
technique works best when you know how to ask a question and you have no vested interest. You really want to know, where are the relics? What kind of a field are they setting up? So when you come into that, as you said, bubble, you press the threshold, it's like, wow, you can't describe it. It's a very high field. I used to go to Dr. Tiller's labs. SU2 itself is very wonderful. I
Mhm.
used to feel refreshed just going into his lab space, which was different than his living room, which was different than this. And, then I became like, oh, I get it. I get it. And I would go into clinic and, well, I go to medical conferences and literally I go like this. I'm limp. I actually have to come out of this lecture room and I have to go, okay, okay, come on, tap the thymus, thump the
Is the
thymus,
thymus thump wonderful? Yeah, and that's what I've noticed too. And so we seek out. I was at an energy medicine conference in this summer, and it was by Dr. Sue Morter, who had this very awakened experience. Daughter of the developer of the one of the energy techniques I practice, and the field was extremely high. It was just you. It was just extremely high, and I remember that is you just want to stay in that. I mean, there were like 250 people there, and we were
Yes.
practicing yoga, so it was it was just wonderful. But that's the thing, and then you go back into ordinary life and in the normal spaces, and
Feels
it
a
takes
bit like
integration.
ho hum, ho hum.
It's the
Like
integration of that. But I think every time we do that, right? Because it's the quantum. So every time we're doing that, every time we go into
it
those high
pumps it
spaces,
up and
it,
pumps it up and pumps it up. It
we have a
decreases a
new
little bit, but
baseline.
you don't let it go all the way down to equilibrium. You pump it up so it's a higher dimensional or higher energy potential using thermodynamic language. You come back. That's where your device with the Buddha relic essence, that energy, you'll notice that your office now stays there. And then you hold it and you thank it. You
Mm.
actually revered that object. It's a sacred object. And then you'll find that your office really is at a higher level. And that's kind of fun. Most people say, Nisha, what did you drink for the morning? Because you're always like so excited. And
I, I will confess that I saw something you had sent out recently, and you were talking with a coach or a health coach or someone that
Mhm.
was in like helping people in the helping profession, and you were very excited and exuberant, and I was like, yes, you it's
Yeah,
definitely
what's
amazing.
the problem? You just, so when your subtle energies are fully pumped, and there will be times, I told you, when I go to certain conferences, I now choose them very carefully, because as a continuing medical education, I keep up with that. That's my task. But what gives me the real juice is spiritual. That's why I do be still and know I am God. And mostly I do it for my own fun, even, The,
Yeah,
okay, so here's the other thing, Robert, and we all want likes on our social media. I want these many followers. And then it came to me like, stop it, Nisha. Truth is not a popularity contest. So I stopped about, how many likes I have. But yeah, it's still there a little bit, lingers on. Like, oh,
I've noticed the
I
same thing
want
in
more
myself
likes.
too.
I want more followers. But you want, yeah,
They're in trouble a little bit for that, all that stuff right now, as I saw recently, for the for the dopamine effect that it's giving everyone from.
oh, absolutely. Like, LinkedIn. Oh, look how many likes I got. And I did LinkedIn because I thought, oh, if professional, they'd enjoy this little spiritual reminder. I get very little traffic, but the point is this, I go, oh, nobody's looking at this. And then I realized, but I'm having so much fun. Just get it. Yeah. And it's
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
It's fine.
And if we're having fun, and then it's the patients. I know when Dr. Joe Dispenza started out in with his meditations, he said for the first year, like they would do it and it would take time, and then it was like exponential. So that's, I think, it's really the great intention, right? To hold the intention for that,
Right.
for
Right.
more and more people to have access to this information, and to be guided to when they're ready. I've just noticed I got 111 a pop up on my watch, uh,
Okay. Well,
and
we've
it went
had a
off,
great
on
conversation.
this
So,
time.
Robert, I want to say this. When you come to Rosemead, and I want to know, we could explore a Zoom when you're there, but I don't want to insist because your mind will be quiet and you can't bring in noise about Nisha's questions and all this. But we can play it by ear, okay? Or certainly
Sounds great.
after you come back, I want to know what you did, and also your litmus. I mean, that is very fascinating that
I'm
you are
thinking
still.
about just taking the water and taking the tit and doing that and respectfully requesting it and maybe videotaping it or something. It just came to
Yes,
me
and by
during
the way,
this.
that is sacred water, and you can put a drop in each bottle of your water, and you'll always expand it. Love is expansive.
Yes. So
Okay.
thank you. I'm so appreciative of our
Yeah.
conversation today. And thank you
Thank you for
all
making the
your work in
time to
this.
talk with me. Of course, I did most of the talking as usual. All right,
All right.
Robert, bye for now.
Bye for now. We'll talk to you later.